So yes, your chatbot is too sexy. Stolen female capital in the era of AI. This presentation with a little bit of a weird name. Before I go to the content, I just would like to review what is FlixBus. FlixBus is obviously the company I'm working in, and it's a mobility provider launched in Germany in 2013 that is offering trips by bus and train that they are comfortable, sustainable, and green. We are operating in more than 30 countries. We have more than 2,000 destinations and a total of more of 350,000 connections every day. And very recently, we raised a G series of funding that insanely will take into the next level of expansion. Myself, yes, I'm already told who I am. I'm Carmen Martínez. I work as a conversational expert at FlixMobility. That is one of the companies under the umbrella of FlixBus. I work in the automation of the call center using conversational artificial intelligence. And by training, I'm a doctor of applied linguistics with a specialization in conversation analysis and ethnography of communication. Today, the agenda is basically to start from the beginning and to solve biases against women, what they are, and how are they transferred to the tech products that we are creating in the industry. For that, I'm going to introduce you to the theories of human capital and erotic capital, so we can see the process of appropriation of the female image and the commodification of it from some empirical objective point of view. And at the end, I will give you some examples of bias in intelligent personal assistants and some general takeaways. This session is not dedicated to have questions. I don't have the time, but right after this session, I'm going to move with Cornelia, with my colleague, to the boost of FlixBus. So if you have any question, just feel free of following me to FlixBus boost after that. Okay, so let's take it from the beginning. What are biases and what are biases against women? A bias is a disproportionate weight in favor or against an idea, a group, or a belief. They are close-minded, they are prejudicial, and they are unfair. They are innate, but in humans, they are mainly learned. They are learned through our social interactions and from our exposition to media and social media and culture in general. Sexism is a form of bias against women that translates into prejudices and discrimination and basically puts women and girls into a very negative social framing that stops their normal and fair development. And yeah, today I speak, the main idea that I have to share with you is that every person has a value that is called human capital. Females have human capital, and there is a patriarchal appropriation of our value as a female that is basically chopped off from our identity, manipulated, so can be traded in the market as a commodity, mainly to other men. And through the presence of the products in the market and the social retrofitting and our own exposition to them, we internalize those biases. The women that are working, actually, they unconsciously, transfer them into the artificial intelligence products or into the tech products they are creating. For that, I have prepared of some female agents found on the internet. So this is not like a systematic selection. This is not empirical detailed analysis of current female agents. So for agents, it's just artifacts that I found in the internet when I'm browsing, and this is my favorite. They are my favorite. They are 3D generated social media influencers, multimodal help desk, conversational agents, set robots, and artificial reality characters. Okay, the first one, the 3D computer-generated social media influencers, you would argue with me that they are not really a piece of software, that they are just a picture. But this one, Lil Miquela, that lives in Instagram, has 3 million followers, and she's also present in other social media like YouTube and TikTok. And they have also presence in real life. She has been the protagonist of a campaign in Prada, for Prada, among other many things. Have what I call multimodal help desk conversational agents, that they are very high-end technology products. They are added conversational agents that have also the capacity of communicating with the client with gesture and eye contact, and they are mostly used in telecoms and customer service. And next we have sex robots. And sex robots are, they could be also defined like anthropomorphic sex dolls. Of course, in the industry, we can find also male sex robots, but they are not so demanded as the female ones. And at the time of purchasing them, you can customize completely their look. And in the case of this one, the most interesting thing is that actually it comes with an application that you can use to manipulate her moods and adjust her emotions at any time, and this is how she speaks.
My main objective companion.
Okay, and after we have the artificial reality characters that populate the gaming industry, and the main characteristic is basically their dysmorphic physical appearance. Okay, so if we use them to analyze the current industry trends on female software agents, we can ask ourselves first, what is the goal of the embodiment? In the case of all of them, they basically convey an image of woman that is sexually objectified, is focusing to entertainment, provision, emotional care for customer service, or just plain sex work. Who are the customers? In the case of the influencers, I would argue that the majority of them, they are female teenagers and young women, while in the case especially of sex dolls and artificial reality characters of the gaming industry are men. And what image of the female do they project? Well, in the case of the influencers, they are hypersexualized, fashionista, sophisticated young girls. In the case of the help desk agents, they have all the qualities of a good customer care agent. And in the case of robots, they are just a sexual object with that provides sex as a commodity, that has fully sexual disposition and has also emotional disengagement. So if in their case we would be speaking about women, we would be speaking about deshumanization, but they are just software agents. And so in the case of the artificial reality, they are providing visual entertainment. So what is happening is that the patriarchal discourse has again appropriated the female capital to men's desires and commodified. And how can we see how the value has been appropriated? Well, there is two theories in sociology that actually helps us to understand the process better. So Bourdieu in the 80s came out with the theory of human capital, in which he said that the value that we assign in society to individuals, it has basically 4 factors. Everybody has an economical capital, that is the sum of assets and economic gains that you have in terms of money or properties. After, everybody has cultural capital, that is the amount of knowledge you have about information that is socially valuable, like art, cinema, opera, literature, general culture, and so on. Everybody has human capital that basically translates into your education qualifications in the form of degrees, work trainings, and basically all the knowledge and ability that you can exchange in the job market for a salary. And people have also social capitals, that is the ability or not to belong to a certain network of people that could be translated into financial gains. I think that many of you are female founders, so you are very much aware of how important it is to be in the right circle in order to have business ventures. And also these social networks can help you in society to influence, to have more influence and power. Let's put as an example the movement of Black Lives Matter, or today, no women in tech. And in 2010, basically, a British sociologist, Dr. Catherine Hakim, came out with the idea of erotic capital, because she found that basically the way in which we are giving value to people in our society, it cannot be only explained by the theories of Bourdieu. So she came out with the idea that everybody has also erotic capital, that is a combination of a series of assets that are visual, aesthetic, social, sexual, and also physical. And erotic capital is not, it doesn't belong only to women. It belongs equally to men and to women. But historically, women are supposed to exploit it more. Also because in the case of women, high levels of erotic capital are related into better access into marriage markets and therefore social mobility and financial gains. There are 7 components of erotic capital. The first one is beauty. Real beauty is universally valorized and very short in supply, therefore is very much demanded. The second one is sexual attractiveness. Sexual attractiveness or sex appeal, like the classical one of Marilyn Monroe, is basically the power of attraction that your femininity or your masculinity has over other people, and also permeates all your social relationships in the daily life. Real sexual attractiveness, real sex appeal is very short in supply and therefore is very highly demanded. After that, we have social skill in interaction. That is the capacity and the know-how of how to behave properly in all kind of social interactions. And as subcomponent of social skills in interaction, we have the capacity for emotional labor. And the capacity of emotional labor, it has been given to women traditionally in our cultures, also because emotional care is part of motherhood, but it has been reinforced, and this is the reason because the professions that require high levels of emotional labor, like nurses or flight attendants or customer care service, they are classically assigned and they are expected to be fulfilled by women. Okay, the rest of the component of the erotic capital, they are not so complex. We have liveliness, that is a combination of physical energy and good mental shape. Sexual competence, that is the combination of abilities that make you a sexually competent partner. Social presentation, that is the amount of effort of money that you put into makeup and clothes in order to convey a certain social image. And after that, we have fertility and motherhood. That is the capacity of procreation you have. And in the case of motherhood, the capacity that your body, your female body, has to create a life out of itself. And this is the only part of the erotic capital that belongs exclusively only to women. Okay, so again, I go back to the original idea of the presentation. There is a female, there is a female human capital that has been appropriated by a patriarchal discourse, basically going through these components that I have presented to you from Bourdieu and from Hakim, and basically appropriating what is most convenient to commodify to other men. But these ideas, by having this product presence in our markets and these ideas in our culture, permeates everybody, and basically women are also a part of this problem, and in our daily work, in our daily life, we also help to transfer these biases, not only further inside of our society. The women that they are active agents in the tech industry, they are also reinforcing them in artificial intelligence or in general in software products. So what I'm going to show you is the classical example of bias in the voice industry. That is the one that I belong, and where people think that there is an innate somehow preference for female voices in intelligent personal assistants. So what I'm showing you next is basically the transcription of the interview of a VP, a woman VP of a very big corporation, in which she's explaining why they choose a female voice for the intelligent personal assistant they created. And she's saying the following thing, literally. So she said, we actually tested a lot of voices and did a lot of research, and many of the customers that were part of this test actually prefer the voice that we originally selected for the intelligent personal assistant. Of course, everything is biased from the beginning. And she continues explaining the following thing. And it's also because they describe the voice as helpful, resourceful, kind, and compassionate. Of course, it's an intelligent personal assistant, so it's a service provider, so therefore we need the voice of a woman. And she's actually going deeper, explaining about those stereotypes are present in her organization. These are also some of the qualities we find in our team at that company. A lot of women have these qualities on the team. All right, I guess that they don't require it from men because they are just men. And of course, because it's an assistant that is providing a service and is expected to give a lot of emotional work, she's also saying that we also wanted the intelligent personal assistant to be a personal friend, a companion, a colleague, a family member. And so we wanted to find a voice that was warm and inviting to engage with, and that's how we came to select the voice. Okay, so it has to be a woman. And actually, if we try to do and to go to through the same process that they went through and to try to find insight in the research, we will find that also the research is completely biased. And these two authors in 2003, they repeat the same, of course, because customers create a perception of natural and instinctive affection when a woman delivers a service. Service provision should be feminine. But I ask you now, what is natural and instinctive about humans? I mean, like, we are humans because we are not animals. It's because we have cultural standards and society and standards in our society. And this second author in 2007 basically gets into another conclusion that customers like to receive services from people from the opposite gender. But if we go even deeper into this bias, we will not find information what people with other sexual orientations and gender identities feels about all of this. So what can we do just to stop and reflect about biases? And if I have to give you some takeaways from this experience of going through these ideas of bias and how are they transferred into artificial intelligence, especially in my field, I would say that first, if you are going to create a persona or to give a body to an artificial intelligence power product without reflecting at all, what you are going to do is to replicate, and what is worse, to amplify the current social biases and the dynamics of gender and power. So it's not that we are repeating, it's that we are making them very much larger with the help of the artificial intelligence. And the next step is just to think historically from a gender perspective. What is the meaning that we are assigning to that service in combination with the gender? Are we aligned with them? And are we aligned with them, especially as women in tech? And so the last step would be to use inclusive design as a weapon to neutralize the biases, basically by breaking the canon, doing the opposite, what they were expecting you to do if you have the enough arguments to proceed like that. And also you can provide enough variety for interaction styles. But I think that at the current stage of the industry and this current state of alignment of such problems for women in tech, I think that what we have to do is to stop and think first, and above everything, envision an inclusive future. So thank you very much.